Hi learners, welcome once again. In this lesson, I bring to you the descriptions of major heavenly bodies in space. Enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thanks.
Hi once again, dear learners. You are welcome to JCL Tutorials, your favorite social studies platform where we teach you how to study social studies a simple way. You do well in a class and at the same time, you come out there to become a responsible citizen. In our last video, we learned about the solar system and that was just a part one of it. This time round, I'm going to bring to you the heavenly bodies or the celestial bodies that are in the solar system. This, talking about space. And then we are going to define them one by one or describe them. I'll show you images. And then when you are being asked to define or explain any of them in your exams, you should be able to write something that will fetch you the full marks. And I always tell you that I teach people to go for the full marks because it is very, very important for you to get an excellent or distinction in your exams, or not just in that, but also you can come out there and explain to people what they have to know. So let's go straight into our lesson for today. And as usual, I have outlined or stated or listed a number of heavenly bodies, the major ones. So we are going to look at the star, we look at the moon, we look at planet, we look at satellites, asteroid, meteoroid, comet, and dwarf planet too as well. Okay, so we begin with star. With a star, when we say a star is a gaseous heavenly body in space that produces its own light. An example of a star is our sun. So in our last video, if you have not checked it up, you can go and look for that video. It's there. That's a recent one where I spoke about the sun and actually gases that make up the sun and cause it to burn all the time. So you can know more about the sun over there and the sun in relation to our Earth as a planet. So a group or collection of stars is called galaxy. So scientists have told us that in space, as you can view it over here, there are millions or billions of galaxies over there. So our galaxy where we find the sun is called the Milky Way. It's called the Milky Way, or the Milky Way. That's our galaxy. So take note of that, and you'll be able to get a full mark for this in case you are being asked to describe a star. There are so many stars also in the solar system. You can talk about the Alpha Centauri and other ones that have been discovered by these astronomers and they've been named. All right, let's go to the next heavenly or celestial body, the moon. The moon. So we look at the moon here. The moon is described as a natural rock-like heavenly body that orbits or goes round a planet. So we see this over here. Our Earth has only one moon as our natural satellite. It is the fifth largest satellite in the solar system. The largest moon in the solar system is called Ganymede. So that is the largest moon. That is the name given to it. So take note of that. And we know this is our moon. So I have put the image here for you to see. It has some spots, very rough, very rocky. And you look at the surface, not that smooth as we view it when we are on Earth. But people who have been here, talking about even the first person who touched, according to records that have shown that Neil Armstrong was the first to visit the moon, and his footprints are still there, and they have the satellite or the machine actually that he used to arrive on the moon. Okay, so that is it. There are several moons surrounding other planets too. Jupiter, I spoke about Jupiter's moon when I was talking about the planet in the last video. So that video contains a lot of information about the moon. Okay, so this is what you can write if you are defining the moon or describing the moon. Let's go to the planet. Since the moon is a natural satellite, that means that the satellite goes around the planet. So let's see, this is a planet. So planet is any heavenly body in space that orbits or revolves around the sun. An example of a planet is our Earth. So we have actually looked at 8 major planets in the solar system. The Earth is the third planet in the solar system and has its own orbit revolving around the sun, So we can talk about Mercury, Mars, we can talk about Venus, we can talk about Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, so that is it for a planet. So we know this is Earth. We have life here, and there's survival on this particular planet. Let's go to the next item I have here is satellite. Satellite. So any object or an artificial or a natural body that orbits a planet, that's a satellite. So when it is built by man, we said those are the artificial one. So we have the natural one, that's the moon. We've already looked at the moon. So artificial satellites are built by man to monitor our planets and other heavenly bodies in space. So every activity taking place in space, there are satellites that are fixed either close or far away from such planets, and they are able to zoom to see how those heavenly bodies are reacting, or those heavenly bodies are actually what they are doing, or how they are moving or faring in space. And we look at how they also relate to the Earth as well. One of such rock-like bodies or heavenly bodies that can actually cause a damage to the surface of the Earth. Therefore, we need a satellite to monitor it and know whether it can hit any part of the Earth is an asteroid. So asteroid is the next item. Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, I hope you are following this lesson. So we are now on asteroid as the next item. So what is an asteroid? An asteroid is a rock-like body hanging in space. So scientists have proven that they actually move at a point sometimes when they are being hit by the solar flares. They miss their path and they may hit into any planet. And if it is coming towards the Earth, then there's a trouble ahead that we need to look out for. So something is actually done. When you go through my channel, there's this video I did. Is there? I spoke about knowing more about asteroid, and if an asteroid is coming close to the direction of the Earth, what can be done to prevent that asteroid from hitting the surface of the Earth? So you check that video out. It's a did you know segment I did on asteroids, so you know what can be done to break all these rocks. So you see how they are. They are found mostly in a particular region. When we say region, within 2 major orbits. So the orbit of Mars and the orbit of Jupiter. So asteroids are found in this region. So you see them here in this area. And then the cluster over here, a lot of them. So this is Mars, planet Mars, and this is planet Jupiter. So if you follow the cursor or the pointer or the arrow carefully, you see what I'm trying to indicate. The sun in the middle, and these 2 yellow lines are the orbits. First one, the smaller one, is the orbit of Mars, and the bigger one is the orbit of Jupiter. So we see them moving here. These ones can, and the Earth is somewhere here. The Earth is somewhere there, so it can hit any part of the Earth. All right. So the region in which the asteroids are found is called the asteroid belt. It's called the asteroid belt. So take note of this belt, that region where the asteroids are found. Now, these asteroids are very huge. They look small in space. From what we can see over here, they look like donuts. If you are familiar with that food. These big rocks actually can break apart. Sometimes when they get closer to when the sun heats becomes too much, it can penetrate them and they can crack or break. As they break, they will have to move at a top speed because the energy or the force that the solar flares actually pushes or moves the broken asteroid, which is called a meteoroid. So that part of the asteroid, when broken, becomes a meteoroid. A meteoroid. Okay, so meteoroid actually enters the Earth's atmosphere, okay, when it enters the Earth's atmosphere, that is entering another planet's region or territory at that high speed because of the fire in it. Yeah, that is the fire from the sun, the heat in it. Now, as it moves with that speed, we call it a meteor. Now, why do we have to call it a meteor, no more a meteoroid? This is it. As it is just a part of the asteroid that is broken, we call it a meteoroid. Now, if it moves with that top speed and passes any part of the Earth's atmosphere, okay, and does not die off, because this fire can quench at any point, okay, and it doesn't hit any part of the Earth, we call it a meteor. A meteor. So a meteor, that is that fireball, okay, that fireball like shaped or of a meteoroid moving at top speed, okay, like what you see over here. So if any of these actually passes the Earth and does not hit the surface of the Earth, then it is a meteor. And it passes, and then we on Earth will view it as a shooting star. That's what we see as shooting star. So at times when you come out in the night, mostly in the rural villages where there is little connection of electricity, when you come out, you kind of see these things in the night. They move at top speed, and then with this trail. Now, as they go, you see that they don't land at any part of the Earth. Then we call it a meteor. But if it eventually happens to land on the surface of the Earth and survives the atmosphere, that means the fire doesn't quench or die off, and it falls on the surface of the and hits the ground, then it becomes a meteorite. Okay, becomes a meteorite. So that is what we have over there. So from meteoroid to meteor to meteorite. Okay, that is why the names actually sound familiar, but they are just from one origin. Okay, one name, one root word. Okay, so that is what we have over here. That's a meteorite. So meteorite can actually create holes on the surface of the Earth. So take note of this explanation carefully, that you can also describe to people. They are not too different. They are actually one, how do you call it, related words, okay? One related words, and then you just have to know why they have these different endings or names or spelling. Okay, I hope that explanation is clear. If that is so, then we'll go to a region where we have certain heavenly body which is a bit far from the sun heat, and for that matter, we don't have these fire balls, but rather icy balls, and we call them comets. So you see the tip, see the image over here, that's the tip with this ball-like shape at the tip. So why is this one so white? Because these ones fall in a different region. Okay, they are not closer to the asteroid belt. They are in a region beyond Neptune, planet Neptune, the eighth planet, and that region was discovered by a man called Kuiper. So it was named the Kuiper belt. So you see this region, very cold region, because of the distance between it and the sun. So very cold. So they are normally icy. But if they happen to move or change their direction and come closer to the sun, then they get heated up, because when ice is drawn closer to heat, it melts, and then it can become water or liquid. Okay, so a comet is an icy and gaseous small solar system body that, when passing close to the sun, warms and begins to release gases, a process called outgassing. So when it passes close to the sun and then releases its gases, then we call it outgassing, because it's getting heated. So the gas had to come out of it. This is one here, and there's another one here, and this is the region 3 images showing that. Comets are mostly found around planet Neptune and beyond. So it is important to know the description of the planet, the heavenly body or the celestial body in space, and also know where it can be found. It can be found or located. All right. So I think that is clear. We'll go to the last but not the least item. That is Dwarf Planet. The Dwarf Planet. So Dwarf Planet, a dwarf planet, a celestial heavenly body resembling a small planet, but lacking certain technical criteria that are required for it to be classed, or can be said to be classified as such. What we mean here is that we have main planets like Mercury, Mars, Earth itself, Venus itself, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus. Those are the 8 planets. Now, I told you the story behind Pluto and being degraded as one of those, and it became a dwarf planet. So when you fall in this category, what they are trying to say is that where you belong is actually far from the sun. Except this series, actually, which is in the, asteroid belt. All these ones are found in the Kuiper belt, which is very far away. So they are cold planets. And you see, the closer the planet is to the sun, like I did say in the last video, the faster it moves. So it is able to enjoy the sun's energy or force that will cause it to what? Revolve around it, or revolve around the sun. So what is happening to these planets? They are actually suffering because they are too far. Okay, they are too far from their mother. So their mother can't actually extend its force. The force is not enough for them to actually move around the sun. So they have remained in that region for far too long, and they continue to move slowly. So they actually don't qualify to be called one of the main planets that we have as the 8th planet in the solar system. So we rather call them the dwarf planets. That means that they are suffering from stunted growth. Okay, they are not receiving a lot of nutrients, which is a force from their mother, the sun, okay, to revolve. So the criteria technically does not make them revolve around the sun. That's what we are trying to say over here. So we have Eris, we have Pluto, we have Hermia, we have Makemake. Okay, so I'll call it that way. Sounds like a local word here. Or make, double make. All right. So these are dwarf planets. These are dwarf planets. By way of summary, we've been looking at some major celestial bodies or heavenly bodies in space, and we looked at the star, we saw the moon, we described it, we looked at the planet. From there, we moved to the satellite. Then we looked at asteroid and take a closer look at asteroid and delve deeper to realize that there's also a meteoroid, okay, or there are meteoroids. And for that matter, they break down to become meteor and then meteorite. So there's this story behind a lake in Ashanti region in Ghana, that is Lake Bosomche, where scientists actually say that it is one of the places that was hit by a meteorite. Okay, so that river over there, when the rainfall fell in it, then it accumulated or gathered there, it became a lake. So, but the traditional people also have their story of that. They don't believe in the scientist story. Okay, so that is a meteorite. We have meteorite also creating holes at other places on this planet Earth. Comet, we saw comet, icy bodies, and then we looked at the dwarf planet. Dear learners, this is what time will also allow us. So I have been able to explain this. If you have questions, don't forget to post in the comment box. If you have not subscribed and you are watching this video, go ahead, scroll down, you see the subscription button. Just click on it and click on the bell. Anytime there is a new video uploaded, you can get your lesson. Enjoy, continue learning, and keep watching JCL tutorials. See you another time with another interesting lesson. Bye-bye.